We both look knackered.
Thanks for that. I thought I looked all right.
You look knackered.
Right, let's share this.
Oh, the world is going to wonder. We have made a makeshift stand out of this today. Wood.
And this.
It looks woodalicious. Oh, welcome to the world of madness. I need to wash my hair.
And I can't wait to get back to Newcastle and have a bath. Like Ariel with the Little Mermaid.
I can't put that up. Looks like I've got a big bloody mountain on top of my head. Hello, people who are there. We don't even know who's there yet because I'm not even looking at it.
I know, the old numbers are shooting up. I can see.
I don't actually think that's true because a lot of the times when we come off live, there's been like 1,000,
I think
2,000
there's
people on.
like a 10-second delay or something on reporting. So I think it only reports as new people come on every 10 seconds. So that's like a 10-second feed.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. You've just learned something about Facebook Live. I need a booster seat. I'm only 4'10". I need a booster seat.
I'll just go down. Hello, Chrissy. Hello, Michael. Hello, Tina. If you are viewing this, can you please share this? I know we've done another cheeky live on a weekend. We weren't going to do it. But Kimberly has travelled all the way from Newcastle to go live with me. So I was really looking forward to this one, and I wasn't going to tell the world. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to let her turn up and let her go live. Hey Sarah, hey Steph. So this is going to be, hey Richie. This is a different one, as from the perspective that it's been very dark, very hard for you. She's come through. And a lot of people are going to relate, both men and women are going to relate to what she's going to say. So I'm going to, I did post a video of yours.
I'm just putting it in the comments now. So for anybody that's missed it, you can jump into the comments and you can see my video. Oh, I've just gone on to our live, so you're going to hear us in the background. Hold on while I add it. And you can see my video. Oh,
can you hear us? We're in sync. We're in sync.
Right, I'm going to give us some likes. Look, woohoo! That's me liking our own live. That's a bit sad. Right, I'm going to get off that. I cannot get off of it. I'm meant to watch my own live.
Right, hi Dazza. Kimberly has put her link on if people want to watch it, but please don't watch it first. Watch the live first.
Yeah.
So, we're going to take you right back to where it all started, to where your very first trigger that you remember in your journey of where you've come to now.
Right, okay, so if we go right back to the very beginning, you are talking about my first bad memory would be, I was maybe about 2, and my dad was hitting my mum over the head with a glass ketchup bottle. And I was on the bottom of his leg screaming, "Daddy, please stop hitting mummy, please stop hitting mummy." And that is the very first memory I've ever got.
How was that for you, growing up in a family that was very physically abusive?
Didn't know any different.
Normal.
Yeah, didn't know any different. I didn't know what a happy family was. I thought everybody had fights and argued and men slapped women about. That's what I thought it was.
It was normal to you?
Yeah.
What did you then go on from that, going on into your life and going into, through adolescence, into being a young teenager? Did you follow the footsteps or did you make different changes?
I'd say I grew up very, very quickly, so I didn't really have a childhood. Yeah. And my dad also went and had an affair, in which I harboured that secret for 3 years before my mum found out. Yeah. So I'd say as a teenager, I learnt to keep my mouth shut. And it wasn't until I lost my mum when I was 22. She died from severe depression. And within 6 months, I was in a relationship with somebody who was going to turn out to be very, very nasty and very, very abusive. And then getting into that, I then learnt to have a lot of respect for anybody that's in a violent relationship, and for my mum to realise that when you love somebody and you just get a tiny, everybody will know who's watching, you get that tiny little glimmer of them being nice.
Tiny little glimmer of hope.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you think you're a magician, you're a wizard, and you're going to be able to like expand that love that you can see from them, and you're going to be able to bring out this amazing person, and you're going to be the one that like changes the world and makes everything right again. And then, yeah, I think 4 years later, Obviously, there was something else, which we'll go on to in a bit, that happened in that time. But 4 years later of being beaten up, and I would say it was more the mental abuse.
It's very hard, mental abuse.
Yeah, it's kind of... I lost a lot of friends, because I would go crying to them every time I got beaten up, every time I was upset, and, you know, he's done this, he's done that, and they got to the point where, like, if you're not going to leave him, we don't want to hear about it. Which, on the outside, I can kind of respect. There's only so much you can try and help someone. So...
It's very hard to get out of that when you're in it.
Yeah, I think, if anything, I had to be left on my own to then realise that this isn't right. And the only way I'm going to put right what my mum got wrong is to get out and survive it. Mm. And I did. I went home, I left my sister's house one day. He'd been up for 3 days on drugs and drinking. And I said to my sister, right, I'm going to brave it. I'm going to go home. And I remember literally walking in the back door, through the kitchen. It was a bungalow. So then into the hallway, he'd come out the living room and I just seen the look on his face. And I thought, he's going to kill me. If I don't get out now, one of us is going to end up dead.
And this is not, when we're talking about this now, this is not just women who go with men. There's a lot of men that go through this as well with women.
So this is just people being in the abusive relationship.
Yeah.
And it's that feel that because you get that tiny little bit of love from them and you love them no matter what. And that's what love's about, is you take people warts and all. And you love them so much, and you think that if you just stay long enough, if you're just a really, really good person and you keep your mouth shut, then, you know, you're going to be able to fix it. And unfortunately, it doesn't always work like that.
Oh,
tea's up.
We have coffee and tea.
Tea boys here.
And I know people, and for a lot of people,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Look at the cup I got.
The box.
And I know for a lot of people,
Kim size.
Look, Riona size. It's great. For a lot of people, being in an abusive relationship that's either emotionally or mentally abusive is very difficult, especially if that other person has problems with drugs or drink or anything. It's very, very difficult. But what did you find more difficult in that relationship? What happened in that relationship that really made a massive change to your life?
The mental abuse. It's not the physical. Anybody can take a beating. Like we had a chat earlier, and I said scars, bruises, it fades. It's what it leaves up here. If I didn't even realise, but a friend of mine was joking around.
Can you ask the kids to be quiet?
Tell the kids to be quiet.
Sorry.
If you guys can hear them. I know she's trying to be quiet, you could probably hear them in there. But yeah, it's the fact of like, where was I? Yeah, the mental abuse. It's just, I didn't even realise until a couple of months after I got out of the relationship, my mate was mucking around next to me and he went, "Ruh." And he said he had to peel me off the ceiling. He said he'd never seen somebody flinch so much, and he burst into tears because he went, "Kim, what's he done to you?" And I didn't even realise that people, even to this day, you can't move too quick around me because I'm like that, because I think it's another swipe coming.
Yeah, it's very difficult when you've been in something emotionally, mentally and physically abusive, to retrain your mindset to think that not everyone's like that and that not everyone's going to be like that with you, but also you don't see it until you're out of it. And then when you start to open up about it, you think, wow, the control they had over me was absolutely catastrophic. How
Phenomenal.
did they manage to have that amount of control over me? It really is hard, and it's really hard to get out of that. And the other problems that it causes from being in that kind of abusive relationship, you ended up, would you like to talk about what happened with the children?
Yeah, so everybody will remember the baby P case where that little boy, God bless him, he lost his life due to abusive parents. Well, I have 2 boys, born on the same day, June the 19th, 4 years apart. And back in 2008, so I'd lost my mum December 5th, 2007, and my little boy in the November the following year banged his head on the radiator. I'd kept him, you know, awake and everything, because my mum used to be a paramedic, so I'd done everything that, you know, like the 111 service would tell you to do. Thought everything was all right. I then come down with gastroenteritis, and my little boy came down with gastroenteritis. Oh, thanks, Tiffany. There's loads more to come. Just get the tissues ready. I'm really sorry. It's going to be sad.
I'm
but
gonna start owl ball.
I'm okay. There's a happy ending right at the very end, so stay to the
I
end,
only got told
guys.
today. I only got told today.
But yeah, so basically I thought that he had gastroenteritis, and obviously he banged his head, didn't break the skin, didn't think any more of it. Then it was November the 5th. So remember the 5th of November means so much other
More
stuff
to
for
you.
me than anybody else. It doesn't mean it means fireworks to me. It was one big explosion that night. But I woke up to find that my 16-month-old son was fitting in his cot. Now, the night before, I'd forgot to turn the heating down. And if anybody knows, with youngsters, you can't let them overheat because they don't understand they need to strip off. So therefore, they'll start to fit because their body's struggling to regulate its temperature. Now, obviously, I did what any mum would do. Rang for an ambulance, went into the hospital. Now, bearing in mind, this was Monday the 5th of November. The Thursday previously, baby P had hit the press. Now, when you Google this, I was actually quite shocked at how many cases are so similar to mine that happened that week and the end of that year. Because obviously, Haringey Social Services, everything blew up and everybody just went OTT. They took my son in, they put him through a CT scanner. And as he went through, I said, "What's that there? Is that there on his head? Like, what's that lump there? That lump on the screen?" And that's when they then took me through and said that it was a bleed on the brain, and that in light of what had happened in the press, they wasn't going to take any risks on losing their livelihood and getting it wrong, and they'd reported me to the police and social services for shaken baby. My 5-year-old, and my 16-month-old were taken straight into foster care. And that was 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Now, the partner that I had at the time that was violent, he was never violent before this. So obviously, me being at the tender age of 23, 11 months to the day before, I've just lost my mum. I've now just lost 2 children. And I've got everybody saying that if I didn't do it, it must have been him. Now, I was brought up to be honest and tell the truth. I hadn't witnessed it. I hadn't seen him do it. And to me, the bleed was exactly where he banged his head on his radiator. To this day, we will never know what happened to him. For me, it makes sense that the bleed was from the hit on the radiator and that he had a fit because the house was too hot, and it was just those happened to happen all at the same week. So when it went in, there was the evidence. But we'll never know. There was never any, he was a big, hefty baby, so there was never any marks to his body. And touch wood, he is amazing now. So there's no comeback after that. There's no brain problems or learning or education or anything like that. He's amazing. And I'm very, very blessed that nothing more came of it. So after the children went, obviously we were arrested and we went through court case after court case. I think it dragged out for about 2 or 3 years. While my children remained in foster care, in which they have got different dads, because I was a very lucky girl. Had sex first time at 17 and fell pregnant. Even took the morning after pill. 4 years to the day later, I'm on the pill and I fell pregnant again because do you know what I did? I said, "Dear God," because I had my eldest 11 days before my 18th birthday. And so I turned around and said, "Please God," because I had to have a cesarean because I'm only little, so I can't have babies naturally. I said, "Please, dear God, let me have my 21st birthday normally." And yes, to the day, September 16th, I fell pregnant again with son number 2. So they are both born June the 19th. And so, unfortunately, they've got different dads. And in
That's
court...
not unfortunate.
Well, it is when I tell you why.
Okay.
And that is because I don't have the best taste in men. Until now, my wonderful husband, might I just protest?
I can second that. I
Shoot
had
forward.
really poor taste in men. And you know what we were talking about? I'm going to let you carry on with the story in a minute. We were talking about why I and yourself have had such poor taste in men. Unfortunately, when you're brought up around a certain environment, and not just that environment, when you've got your own demons to deal with and you have your own issues, it doesn't allow you to see clarity in your life, and it certainly doesn't allow you to see the people that are right for you in your life. So you end up making some really poor decisions about friends, about partners, about life choices. It's not just about boyfriends, it's about every choice that you make is not a very good one, really. When you're going based upon the demons, you're allowing your past demons to follow you into your present and control the decisions that you make. And everything will present itself as if it's true, as if it's honest, if it's real, because you're very vulnerable and weak, because your demons are following you. You don't always fall for the right people. I made some really crappy choices of men.
Yeah, but come on, let's be honest, right? When the nice person comes along, you're like, nah.
You shy off, you
Nah.
run away.
Makes my skin crawl. Nah, I feel like, no, you're smothering me, you're too nice, I can't breathe. And you look for a bad guy. You look for the bad guy or the bad woman.
It's all you used to.
Because when nice comes along, you don't know what to do with it. It feels uncomfortable because it's out of your comfort zone.
It's out of what you're used to. It's out of what you know. It's out of what you know how to deal with. And men and women do this. I mean, I have a lot of male friends who say, I've met some really, really, really not very nice women, Riona. I said, well, you know. And I said to someone the other day, they said they keep the wall up, and until you deal with the person who is behind that wall and the reason why you've got that wall up, you're always going to meet the wrong people in your life. They're always going to be faced to you, because what they say to you and how they act is what you're used to. And until you change that pattern, which you changed that pattern, and what went on from there?
I certainly did. So obviously in the courts, both dads were called in. Unfortunately, the boys were separated. So one went into foster care, one went with his dad, which we'll get to a little bit later because there is a happy ending. But so the boys went into care, the court case ended, the boys went where they went, and obviously...
How did that make you feel?
Horrendous. Horrendous.
I
because
can't imagine.
For me, it wasn't the fact that I'd lost them. Okay, that killed. I dealt with that quite quickly. And I thought to myself, you got two choices here. You can either crumble and fall apart and be no good for nobody, because bear in mind, I've just lost my mum. I've got no family. I'm a single mum-ish with a stupid boyfriend with two young kids. The dads have gone. The dads have gone off and found new girlfriends and a wife and don't care about us. Then they come in and they're like, yes, we're going to take the kids. And then one falls off the wagon and the other one takes the other one. Yeah, I'm kind of on my own, and I was like, I can't afford to fall apart. There's only me. The boys have only got me. I've got to be strong. I've got to stay strong with this. So that happens, the court case ends, and then obviously we get to the end of the violent relationship. I took a lot of beatings. And I remember once I ended up in A&E, and the police had said, right, we've got him, we've arrested him. And I just said, please, can you let him go? Can you let him go so that when I get home, he can just give me a cuddle and tell me everything's going to be all right? I didn't want him to get in trouble. That hurt me more than what he put me through. And the coppers said, if we let him go, there's nothing we can do to help you. The next phone call we're going to get is because you're unconscious or you're dead. We can't do anything if you're going to let him back into your life. And I did. And my friends came round that night and said, you're not staying here, you're coming out with us, you're not staying. And I went out and I waited for them all to get really, really drunk. And then I snuck back in a taxi because I just wanted to go home and be with him. Even though I had a hematoma the size of a jacket potato on the back of my head where he'd headbutted me. I had a broken nose, so I had two black eyes starting to come up. I had scratches down my face, which I'd covered up with loads of makeup. Which to this day, if you go on my Facebook page, I'm in a red dress, I've got glasses. Now, I'm naturally tanned. I'm white as a ghost. You'll be able to tell when it happened, because you can see it in my eyes. And even now, when I look back, I'm like, whoa. So anyway, we get to the end of this relationship, and I try and pick myself up. I try and move to Northern Ireland, got myself a job, moved in with my friend, broke my foot. Couldn't work anymore. Couldn't afford to pay half the rent anymore. So I come back over to North Yorkshire, and I'm staying on friends' sofas, and they're supporting me. And I'm like, right, yeah, I'm back where I should be. He's a million miles away down the other end of the country. I'm back where my friends are. It feels like home. It's what I'm used to. It's where the boys were born and stuff. I'm going to get a job. Got a job, got poorly. Couldn't work no more. She couldn't afford to keep me on if I was going to be ill with the flu. It was nearly Christmas. So it's like November 2012. And then I'm staying on one friend's sofa, staying on another friend's sofa, staying on another friend's sofa. I can't really remember what a bed feels like. And then I started running because I thought like, right, nobody's going to want me as a big fat mess. I need to start running. I need to slim down. I need to get over the fact I've got asthma and I'm heavy and they say it will ruin my knees and my spine. I just need to run. Plus, when I started running, I found freedom.
Yeah.
Put my headphones on, music on, and just go. And I always used to go, bearing in mind it's November time, so about 3:30. So as it was getting to dusk, a bit like now. And especially when it was raining, best time to run is in the rain. Run straight through a puddle. It's like so enlightening. You've got the power to go, yeah, I'm going to get soaking wet right now and I'm going to stamp in the middle of that puddle like when you was a kid in wellies. And so I'm running, and then one night a friend of mine who's tattooed on my arm, I call her the lifesaver, because she rang me and she said something's wrong. And I said, no, we're getting ready to go out. Like the girl, other friend whose sofa I was on, said, no, we're going out. She's going to take me out. We're going out for a dance. I said, I love dancing. Not a big drinker, but I love dancing. I'm the type of Red Bull girl and on the dance floor all night, sweating, looking so unattractive. But yeah, I can bust some moves. And I'm like, no, we're going out. And then she went, no, I'm telling you now, you're lying to me. There's something wrong. And as I was talking to her, I was looking in the mirror and there was nobody there. I was talking as if I was a robot. There was no life there. And she went, what's the matter? And I went, I didn't even realise, but I've planned it. And she went, planned what? I said, I go out running for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours. I've got a shoebox full of pills and my friend keeps a litre bottle of vodka in the fridge. So all I've got to do is put my hoodie on, load it up in the front pocket and say that I'm going out for a run and nobody will expect to see me for 2 hours. Which would then lead me to go into a forest, which would leave it longer for somebody to find me, so that I knew that when I did it, they wouldn't find me in time. And I said to her, I've planned my suicide. In which, it's still so funny. She said to me, so you're not going out for a run tonight? And I went, no. She went, right, I'm coming to get you first thing in the morning. So she still let me have my night out, even though I was like, that's it, it's over, I'm going.
I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah. I was just so blasé about it. I was like, but there was no emotion. And I'm sure a lot of you have felt that, where you've tried to pick yourself up and try to pick yourself up and you just keep falling down to the point when you just go, give up. What's the point? What's the point? Keep fighting. Keep getting it wrong. Keep falling flat on my face. What's the point? So, God bless her, she took me to the doctors. The doctors called out the crisis team. The crisis team come out and went, well, if she can sleep on your sofa tonight. And my mate just grabbed this bloke across the table by a scruff and went, I don't know who she is, put her in hospital now. And they did, they put me in hospital that night. And I remember having to sit there, and my friend, she sat right next to me. I couldn't look at her. And I told my story with no emotion, no feeling, one tone. Oh.
There you go. From that no emotion, no feeling to
one move. And all I remember is her turning in her seat away from me, crying her eyes out. Now, this girl don't cry. She don't cry for nobody. You could drop something on her foot, she ain't never going to cry, okay? And she sat and she cried next to me. And that's the only thing I ever remember is like a big long table. She was here and there was a psychiatrist down the other end. So admittedly, they said to me, we've got to ask you the one question. If we let you home tonight, are you going to die? And I was like, yes. Just quite happy to go, yes, I'm done. I'm fine. I'm out. I'm done. And I honestly believed that I would be better off as a headstone that my boys went to visit than being a failure as a human being. I really did. But the hospital was amazing. And the most amazing thing was they gave me a bed. Do you know, that is all I needed. I didn't need a magic wand. I just needed a freaking bed. And I had an amazing night's sleep. And for any of you that's watched the video, if you haven't, it's in the comments near the beginning, so you might have to scroll up a little bit. That song that I play in the background is why it's in the background. And that's that I'm here. I want to leave my footprints in the sand. I want to leave a legacy for my children. And it was laid on that hospital bed where you're not allowed headphones in case you try to hang yourself. You're not really allowed to string out your trousers or anything like that. If you want to charge your phone, they have to lock it away in a cupboard in case you're going to do something silly. And I laid on that bed and I thought, what am I going to do? Two choices. You live or you die. And I thought, right, And I remember being dead serious and thinking, right, now, do I be a headstone that the boys can visit? Or do I come out of here with all guns blazing, everything I've got, and just keep going? Just keep going. Even if I get it wrong, doesn't matter, as long as I know I've tried my best. I've tried my hardest. And damn, I was out within a week. I was out within a week. No medication. And if anything, the psychiatrist said to me, you still love him. Bearing in mind that this was like nearly 6 months after I'd split up with my ex, and she said to me, you still love him. And you're bottling it up and pretending that you don't because you know he's a bad person. And to you, it's a bad thing. You can't be attached to it. And then she said it's okay to admit it. And I did. I came out. They put me into a homeless unit. And I remember ringing the ex. And I said to him, I still love you. And he went, well, what do you want me to do with that? I said, I just needed you to know. And that was it. The minute I told him, I didn't care anymore. And I hope he's had a really, really bad time. No, I don't wish he's had a bad time.
We don't really.
Because if he's had a bad time, then everybody else around him has. But I just hope that he's stuck in his own head with his own thoughts and realises what he did and what he had at the time. So I came out and I thought, I had a few jobs. I was in the homeless unit. They said to me, Kim, my thing is I get addicted to working so that I don't have to face problems. They said, Kim, we want you to take a year off. We'll find you a little council flat. You can be on benefits. And I was like that. Crippled, because I'm very independent. I like to work hard and do everything myself, and I don't like to take handouts. And I went in, I think it was something like the 27th of November, and I started my job on the 6th of January. And then I moved into a friend's flat, probably about the 20th of January. So that whole Kim take a year out didn't happen. But this was 2013. We're now 2017, so if we just fast track forward, so I've worked very hard. I went from living in North Yorkshire to getting a job in Newcastle, to one of my clients offered me a flat in Newcastle, to which I was in quite a rough area of Newcastle. Now when I tell people where I live in Newcastle, they go, ooh, as if I'm really posh. I'm not. And I am happily married to my best friend of, it will now be 12 years. He chased me for 9 years.
The guy that you pushed away, the guy that
I pushed away, that made me skin crawl, who's now the most handsome guy. I always think to myself, I always knew he was good looking, I just didn't tell other people. But now I think he's that good looking, please don't ever leave me. I'm just like that, don't leave me. I know I can be a psycho sometimes, but don't leave me. Everybody has a bad day. But no, we do. We fit together like a puzzle, like yin and yang. We're just really good. And we got married in August this year, in which obviously one son's with his dad, remember. I hadn't seen him for 3 years, but I put my foot down last year and I was like, I am seeing him. You're not putting that. And I had to do a little bit of emotional blackmail. So I got him back in my life and was having contact with him. Then my other son, obviously in foster care, I get contact with him anyway. And for my wedding day, they both were there. For the first time in 3 years, I'd seen them together. And I just had my makeup done as my eldest turned up. And then I was like, because I don't cry, I kind of stopped crying because I've cried that much. But I was like, oh, and then everybody else got tissue and they were going, oh, don't cry, you're going to ruin your lovely makeup. And then my boys were like chalk and cheese. Chalk and cheese, there is no, there is just no separating them on the wedding day. And I always say my wedding day didn't feel like my wedding day because I was so obsessed with the fact that my boys were back together. Because for me, it's not about me and how I feel, it's about them. And they need each other massively. And that's what was important to me. And so from there, obviously I've still got, I suppose we could say, issues to sort out, properly. But yeah, kind of a little miracle happened in the last few days. And that is that obviously Ben came to me for the wedding. He then came to me for half term. We've then just
This is the youngest one now, isn't it?
This is the youngest one that they accused me of shaking off. And he came home for Christmas and then he starts crying on the way back down to his dad's. And he says, Mum, I don't want to go back there. I want to live with you. Now, obviously, I take it as he's had a lovely time. Kids will say stuff. And And he got really, really upset. So I said, right, I'll have a word with your dad. Yesterday I met with his dad, and his dad's admitted he thinks the best thing is for Ben to come home. So, with all the misery, with that sad video that you can see in the comments,
with 8 years of heartache, with wanting to commit suicide, with everything, because of everything you went through, you fought for 8 years.
just didn't give up.
And that little boy's coming home.
He's coming home.
Oh.
So the moral of this story is,
Don't give up.
don't give up. Don't give in. If you think you're not good enough, or you think you can't do it anymore, just remember this story. You can do it. And when you decide to do it, and you decide to come back fighting, you come back fighting more powerful, bigger and better than anybody you could ever imagine. The amount of people that tell me I'm inspirational, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just me. I'm so blasé about what I've been through because I got through it. To me, that unfortunately, that was normality. But, you know
now it's not.
It's not normal. I would not advise anybody else to go through it. But what I can say is...
No, neither would I.
You guys, you've got this page, which is why when I met the beautiful Riona at the Christmas party, I was like, anything I can do to help you, you just tell me, I will be down. And hence why I'm here. And then little did we know that when I walked in, I was going to be telling her that
I blubbered halfway through this.
Yeah, that my little boy's coming home to his mummy. And we can't wait. We can't wait. But just don't give up. So whether you're going through a bit of a bad time, whether it's violence or depression or mental health, or if you've got health issues, this one, Kate, I know you're watching. I've said we need to train with her to get her upper body strength for the total warrior. There's nothing stop.
Yeah.
She's solid. Don't feel my bingo wings.
No, look, they feel the abs.
Oh. Yeah, I've got a jelly belly. Watch out though, watch out. See, the thing is, like, mentally, I learned to reprogram because I do still suffer with, I wouldn't say depression, because I've got nothing to be sad about, but I suffer with anxiety. So them days when you're like, something bad's gonna happen, something bad's gonna happen, and I've learned to kind of combat it. It's usually with a couple of little chocolates. Release those happy endorphins, or it's get your bum down to the gym, get on the treadmill, you lazy mare.
But honestly, the gym, and this is when we open the Go Pink Fitness and Wellbeing Centre, it is actually the best antidepressant going. Honestly, it releases so many happy endorphins, but the first point of call is to talk.
Yeah.
If your friend hadn't have had them, she knew something was wrong, and if she hadn't have pushed you and pushed you and pushed you, you wouldn't be here right now.
No.
You've taken them pills and that bottle of vodka, sat in that woods and gone. So if you are a friend out there that watches our lives and you think to yourself, there's someone out there that's struggling, there's someone out there that I really know that needs some help and I don't know how to reach them, keep on asking them.
Yeah,
keep on knocking at that door. Don't let them go. Don't let them say, oh yeah, I'm fine. No, if you know that they're not fine, and you know that there's something inside that's saying, something not right here, they're not fine, there's something that's just not right, follow it through.
And there's ways to do it as well. It's like, I've learned, you don't always have to be direct with everybody to help them. So that's kind of why, I suppose I've got a sixth sense. So I'm very good at having good intuition and doing stuff when it needs to be done. And that's why I created that video. So make sure you guys all watch that video. And if you think you've got someone that's struggling, but you know the minute you go to ask them, they're going to put their guard right up. They'll even stop talking to you and unfriend you on Facebook. That's when the world ends, when you get unfriended on Facebook. You're not officially married until it's on Facebook, apparently. So anyway, if you think you have got someone that is going to go, no, get away from me, never going to talk to you again, I'm prepared to unfriend you, I don't want you around, because they're that scared that you're going to draw out their weakness, just tell and say to them, oh, do you know what? I was on Facebook the other day. Somebody had shared this video. Here, have a look at it. And then say, can you believe I watched a thing with this girl? She got her kids back. She won in the end. Just goes to show you to get through it.
Have a look at Go Pink. There's so many people on this site that are getting through problems that are just mind-blowing. I mean, some of the problems that we've gone through are mind-blowing. I cannot begin to tell you guys. Some of the stuff that we have gone through is just... Do you know, and when people kind of look at me and say, oh, you're dead positive, Riona. I wasn't when I was lying in that hospital bed. It wasn't when I couldn't feel anything. And I remember my best friend Sarah saying, every hour on the hour, Riona, you woke up and you were like, where am I? What's happening? Why can't I feel my body? What? I couldn't do anything for myself. To get to that feeling that you don't want to be here anymore, that you are such a burden, and to yourself, it's not just being a burden to other people, you actually feel a burden to yourself. You actually, it's just, you can't express just how low that feeling is. And it doesn't matter how you get there, the fact that you've got there, but the fact that you find people, they're angels for me. Yeah. That just give you that hope to come through. And that's what this lady does. That's what I'd like to think that me and my team do. With my hair sticking up. We like to get...
I've got layers and stuff now. I've done a bit of I need a good wash, kids. I've been driving for a week. I need a good wash. It's going flat.
But we like to...
It's me a little fake little...
Hi, Gaza, for joining. Hi, Martin. I haven't really looked at the comments much because I wanted to get this story out there. This is not just for women who have gone through this. There's men who go through this where they lose access to their children and they don't see their children the way they want to.
And then they think they're not good enough for their kids. They let other people get in their head. If you want to be there for your kids, whether you have to sit in the background like I did for 3 years and then wait for your moment to walk back into their lives, you never, ever, ever give up. Okay? It's the same with your kids. It's the same with family. It's the same with friends. It's the same with business. Do not give up. You can be there for your kids in so many ways. I had a journal and I used to write to my boys. So the days in which I couldn't see them, the years in which I couldn't see my little one, I used to write in the journal about what I was thinking about them today, or that I'd seen a pair of shoes I thought they'd really love, or that I wondered if they was into Toy Story or did they love cars, and did they like football or did they like rugby. And I kept a journal so that when they're older, they can read that, so they know that even though they weren't with me physically, they were always with me everywhere I went. So there is loads of stuff that you can do. You just got to decide not to give up.
And sometimes, and that goes in aspects in everything in life, if you think it's taking you too long to get there. This lady, she just goes to show that 8 years it took her to get her boys back, but it can take you, if you've got a dream or a goal that you want to hit or a target that you want to reach, it doesn't always happen in a couple of months, couple of days, couple of weeks. Sometimes it can take a while to get there, but perseverance and belief in yourself that you will get there. And when you don't have that belief, there's people like Kimberly and people like Go Pink that can help you find that belief in yourself to strive forward, to keep going, to keep on chipping away so you get there. And sometimes you might not be in the best emotional or mental place for your children right now. Sometimes it might be that you need to take a step back because you've got to do some work on yourself before you can be back in their lives. And some people don't even know that they can be quite emotionally abusive and mentally abusive. They are that kind of character, and it can overflow into the children, which is very, very, very damaging. And it's acknowledging that you have that work to do, but you can still be there, still love, still want to be there. But it's saying, I've got to do this work on myself until I'm back there, because right now I've just got to take a step back, do the work I need to do, and then go back and say, you know what, this is my time now. Never give up. Never, ever give up.
Yeah. And for all of those that go through bad relationships, I'm happily married now. I didn't think I would. When there was days, I remember maybe the last 6 months, he'd go for me and I would sit and I would rock and I would cry into my knees saying, I just need to die. I just need to die. It's the only way I'm going to get away from you. It's the only way that I'm going to be free. I just need to die, because it didn't matter if I tried to fight back, if I was quick with my mouth. I could never get out the house. Never get out the house. The doors would get locked. The windows would get locked. He'd take the keys. And it was torture. Absolute torture. Now, when I was sitting on that mat, rocking backwards and forwards, saying, I just want to die, it's the only way I'm going to get out, did I ever believe I was going to be happy and get my children back and be married? No. But I didn't give up. So it just goes to show, if you don't give up, like miracles
you never know
happen.
what's going to happen. You never ever know. Even though life can be at such a desolate place and such a desperate place for you, you never ever ever know what's around the corner. You never ever know what's going to happen. So it's about never giving up. And when you're in the adversity of really hard times, it's about saying, It's not about finding how strong you are and how a character, because people think to be strong is to hide away, to not tell anyone the problems, to put on this face of happiness and to protrude to the world that everything's fine, everything's amazing, and that's how to be strong. Guys, that's not how to be strong. How to be strong is to say, I'm not doing great, I'm not coping, this is hard, I need help, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and on that note, I would like to say, obviously, I lost my mum at the age of 53 to manic depression. So when my dad finally came out and said he was having an affair, over 7 years, she had underactive thyroid, angina and diabetes, and she stopped taking her medication.
She died of
a broken heart. So there's medical terms, but it was a broken heart. And I watched her body, so she had renal kidney failure and bronchial pneumonia when she died. That's what finally did it for her. But I had to go, just before my wedding last year, I had to go to the doctors. They thought I had bipolar because I started visioning hanging myself. And all it was the stress of the wedding, because of the stress of having to please too many people. So anyway, I was very lucky. I got a doctor's to refer me to a psychiatrist, in which I sat with him, and he's Buddhist. And I would highly recommend Buddhism, not even as a religion, just as something to look into and follow. It makes a lot of sense, especially when you've been through a rough time. And he said to me,
it's quite healing and calming, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
We're not advocating a religion here, by the way.
No,
we're just telling you,
educational.
Anything that can heal you and can be calming.
Yeah, and
meditation's good.
He said to me, he said, I'm not going to diagnose you with that. And he said, on the grounds of what you've told me about your mum, what I am going to say is, you've never been taught how to handle stress, and that is why I now suffer with anxiety. That is why I didn't cope very well, and I thought I had to bail out the way my mum did, because that's what she taught me inadvertently, thinking, put a brave face on, get up, get on with it, hence the reason why I'd throw myself into work, because that's what she'd do. Whereas like Riona's just said, don't hide it. If you need to say to your kids, look, mum or dad's just having a really bad day today, but tomorrow's going to be better. Always flip it round, it's going to be a positive. If I have a down day, like I know tomorrow, I'm going to be shattered. I will stay in my pyjamas all day, I will not leave the house, because I will give myself that time, because I know that if I don't, then I'm probably going to start suffering with anxiety by the end of the week.
I'm the same with with me being a paraplegic. I do a lot on my legs, and I try and do stuff, and I try and get better, and I try and do stuff to help me walk and to progress in my rehabilitation, because I so much want it. But then on the other flip side, I suffer really bad from chronic nerve pain, spasms on an evening, on a night time. And I can't describe being in that pain, how exhausting it is. And people, if there's anyone here who's watching this who suffers with chronic pain, how just mentally and physically exhausting it is to try and keep yourself going when you are in that pain. Some days I just have to say to the kids, sorry, we're having a duvet day, kids, today. We're not going anywhere. We are watching DVDs. We'll do loads of artifact stuff, and the big trays come up on the bed, and we make beads and all kinds of stuff. But it's just so I can take my meds. I can take a little bit more, which means that I wouldn't be able to drive. I wouldn't be right to drive, but that I can relax. And they're happy with that because they understand mummy's struggling today. Mummy's in pain today. And I used to feel really bad as a mother, really bad after I'd had, thinking I came home and I couldn't clean properly, I couldn't do this properly, I couldn't do that properly, and I felt like a failure as a parent, that I'd failed my kids from having this spinal injury, and that I wasn't the mother that they needed, and I wasn't the mother that I used to be. And I had to quickly realise is when they were asked by an individual, which was a social worker, what it was that they needed, they just needed mummy. They didn't care whether I was in a bed, in a wheelchair, stood up, walking, running, could play with them on my legs, could run after them. They just wanted to know that mummy was safe and mummy was okay. And the one thing my kids said to me this year, my first year being on my own as a single parent, we didn't have a lot of money, and I said, you know, kiddies, they're not going to be loads and loads and loads of presents like there normally is when mummy and daddy were together underneath the tree. And my eldest boy, Caleb, he said, do you know what my wish is this year, mummy? Is that you're not afraid anymore. You're not living in fear, and that we're not afraid anymore. And Christmas Day, he sat there and he opened his first present. He went, mummy, I got my wish, because you ain't afraid, and neither am I. And that's all they wanted, and that's all they need.
Exactly. So don't hide it from your kids, because you can do more damage by trying to be strong rather than just being real.
And you can tell them in very childlike manner. You can tell them in a way that they're going to understand without how you would explain it to an adult. You can water it down.
Offloading onto them.
You can water it down, and what it does is it keeps them in that safety loop. Children still need to know. They still need to know what's going on. And if they feel they don't know what's going on, they start to panic, they start to worry. Fear creeps in, doubt creeps in. And then that follows them on into their adulthood.
Yeah, it's what we said earlier, wasn't it? When they start getting into their late teens, all of a sudden, all these emotional problems burst out.
People say that children are resilient. And I would agree with that to a certain extent. They are resilient if we are there for them. They bounce back. But it's when they get into their late teens that it comes smashing back in the face, because it's never been dealt with, it's never been talked about, it's always been hidden. Let's not talk about this, it's not child friendly, and it's not fair to them to do that. To be honest and open with them so that they understand what's going on and they feel safe, and they can gain ownership as well of that, and they know what's going on and they don't feel like they can't talk. And it's very much taboo in nowadays that we don't talk. We just don't.
We communicate through this. Unfortunately, it's all about the mobiles.
At least we are doing this. In communicating through this, we're hoping that it gives a positive, that it sends a real positive message out there. This lady did give up. She did want to end her life. She had a very good friend, and I don't blame you at all for wanting to end it. It was horrific what you went through, and I couldn't imagine losing my kids. I couldn't imagine. I know what it felt like was in hospital, so I can relate to that 4 months nearly in hospital, being away from them, and that tore me apart. The knowing that I could see them was the only thing that kept me going. So the years that you've had apart from them, I just physically could not imagine what you've gone through and what you've had to face, and you've come through that, and you kept fighting for them.
Yep.
And you've now got that. It's not perfect life, but she's got the life that you deserve and that you want.
I didn't even know it was going to happen. I've always said to my boys, since having them both back in, I'm happy that you're happy. I support where you are, because you've got good schools, you've got good friends and everything. And never in my wildest dreams did I think that one of them would go, no, I'm coming home, Mum. I've had enough now, I'm coming home. Because I'd always been, I'd never say to them, I want you to come home, because to me that's unfair to put that on them. So I always wanted to show that I was happy, as long as I could see them, and as long as any parent wants, you just want to know that your kids are happy.
And safe.
And safe.
Love,
I knew they were safe, I knew they were getting love. All right, maybe not as much love as I give them, because I just give them squishy kisses all the time. Squishy kisses. I always say to Ben, I say, come here and give me mummy cuddles, come on. And he loves it.
There is only mummies that give the mummy cuddles.
Exactly.
There's no other cuddle like a mummy cuddle.
You know, dads give, what is it Michael does with Ben later? Because I'll go, right, give mum a kiss goodbye. Yeah. Or like, come on. And then like him and Michael, because Michael's his stepdad, they do this. Yeah. So our men do it.
Peace out.
Peace out, man. Although, to be fair, it's hilarious, because obviously I had the conversation yesterday, like, you know, to me, he's still a little baby, because I haven't really grown with him to get him to 9. And I was like, so no wonder he like pulls the right face when I'm like, give me a hand to cross the road.
9 years of age, yeah, Mum, do one.
And he's like, Mum, and I'm like, I don't care, it's a busy road, give me a hand. So he pulls his cuff down like this and goes like that. And I just have to hold his fist. And then he's like that. Literally within a step away from getting to the other side, he's like, let go of me.
Yes, I have gained some kind of a... Going through puberty soon, Mum. Leave me be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
On that note, guys, thank you so much for watching us. Thank you so much for coming here and doing this live. And
yeah, man.
And
whatever helps.
Yeah, we are doing...
Whatever helps.
We're doing a bit of a... Not a march, it's not kind of a protest. It's kind of a support walk through the streets of Halifax, and last night we got
I don't know if I'll join that, like, you've seen how many hills they've got.
No, it's town centre, it's not that many hills.
But I don't have a figure like this because I work out too hard.
There's a place called North Bridge, which is just in the town centre, and it is the main suicide point for most people, which a gentleman was on there last night. We got a call,
no.
we went down there, we spoke to the police. The police did an amazing job, they got him down, but they're going to pass our details on to him so that we can help him. But that's happening on the 1st of April. And if you have your little boy, we'd love you to wear a Go Pink Co t-shirt and come and join us on that bridge and
I think
say,
we might have to do it. So
No more.
we'll have to bring the geek that he took 9 years chasing us to then be able to get with us and marry
I love
me
that,
11 years
chasing us,
later.
chasing us.
Chasing
The
us.
Geordie goes to a...
Yeah, so...
She comes out Geordie, the southerner goes to a Geordie, chasing us.
Yeah, and I think we'll come down as our little unit.
But that's what we want.
Our
We
little
want
unit.
families to be there, and it's not just a case of one person. The more people who stand against mental health issues and disabilities and bring it out to make it more the norm, that it is part of people's lives. Problems are part of people's lives. Bottling them up is where things go wrong. So if we can get it out there, we can get people talking, and we can get people doing things that they love again.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it in a sensible way, when you create like these like $1 million businesses and stuff, it's not one person that deals with it, is it?
No.
Loads of people get around a table and they go, right, I've got an idea, or if something goes wrong with that new idea, what do? They all get together and they brainstorm. That's all you're doing with your problem. By reaching out to somebody else, you're just brainstorming how to get over it because you haven't learnt how to deal with that problem, or you don't know where to go with it. So you just go, oh, hold on a minute, yo, woo, over here, need some help. No shame in it. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, people do. People
I stick
need
my
to-
hand up all the time now and go, oh, I'm having a really bad day, somebody feel sorry for me.
But on that note as well, please come down Thursday, the very first Help and Support Centre, Thursday, 7 o'clock at the Shea. And we are so excited as the team for this to happen. But, you know, eventually we'll be reaching out into Newquay. I might even get you running a one down there for me. On that note,
we'll
guys,
get one in Newcastle.
peace out. Have a great Sunday, and we shall see you back at 6 for a live. Thank you for watching. Bye. Let me get